I'm making a Thunder Dragon deck profile. Thunder Dragon's been one of my favorite decks ever since it got cheaper because of Megatons, or I don't remember what caused them to get cheaper, but ever since I was able to get them, I loved the deck. So I figured why not make a Thunder Dragon deck profile? Just because I've been playing a lot more frequently and it's actually pretty good. So starting off with the monsters, I play 3 copies of Thunder Dragon Matrix. All of the Thunder Dragons, except for the original, share the effect that you can only activate one of 2 effects per turn. Matrix's 2 effects are you can discard it to then target 1 Thunder monster you control against 500 attack. Or if it's banished or sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 Thunder Dragon Matrix from your deck to your hand. Then I play 3 copies of Thunder Dragon. Just discard it, add up to 2 Thunder Dragon from your deck to your hand. 3 Dark. Discard it to search for a Dark as a quick effect. Or if it leaves the field or is banished, then search for a Thunder Dragon card. 3 copies of Hawk. You can discard it, special summon a Thunder Dragon monster that is banished from your graveyard, except for Hawk. Or if it's banished, you get to take any number of cards from your hand, shuffle them into the deck, and draw the same number. 3 copies of Roar. You can discard it, add one of your Thunder Dragon cards that's banished from your graveyard to your hand other than Roar. And if Roar is banished, sent from the field to the grave, special summon 1 Thunder Dragon monster from your deck in defense position, but it returns to your hand during the end phase. That is it for the Thunder Dragon monsters that I play. 2 supporting cards I play 3 copies of Battery Man Solar. Solar has the effect of when it's normal summoned, you get to Foolish a Thunder monster from your deck to the grave. And if a Thunder monster is summoned to the field while you control Battery Man Solar, I believe it has to be special summoned. Nope. If a Thunder monster is normal or special summoned while Solar is in play, then you can special summon 1 Thunder token. No, 1 Battery Man token. And you can only use each effect of Solar once per turn. But the only reason I like Solar is because if you see Solar and Hawk, that's a 2-card combo that gets you to a Link 4 and a Thunder Dragon Titan. That's pretty much the only reason I play 3 Solar. Then I play 2 copies of Chaos Dragon Levineer, just because Chaos is still good in this deck, even though I'm not going as heavy on it as I had in the past. But it's still pretty good. With Chaos Dragon Levineer letting you banish 3 monsters from your graveyard that are either light and or dark, to then activate one of 3 effects depending on what was banished. If you banish 3 light monsters to summon it, then you can bring back 1 monster in your grave in defense position. If you banish only darks, then you get to shuffle 1 card from your opponent's hand into the deck. Or if you summon it banishing both light and dark, then you can destroy 2 cards on the field. However, if you activate any of these effects of Chaos Dragon Levineer, it cannot attack during that turn. Then moving on to level 8 Synchro engines I play. I play 3 copies of Cyphering Gear Gamma and the 1 Driver. I play these because if I go to activate Dimension Shifter, then my opponent goes Gamma because they can't afford having their things banished. I can chain Gamma to destroy their Gamma, summon both Gamma and Driver, and make a level 8 Synchro. Or any other thing while I don't control a monster. I just find it to be good out to Gamma when I don't have a monster. And then I play 3 copies of Shiranui Solitaire, 1 Mizuki, and 1 Unizombie. Solitaire lets you tribute itself for cost to then special summon a 0 defense zombie from your deck. So you tribute Solitaire, summon Unizombie. Unizombie's effect, send Mizuki to the grave, increase its level by 1. And then banish Mizuki from the grave, summon back Solitaire, and then tune for level 8 Synchro. That is it for the monsters. Moving on to the spells. I play one... Oh. Forgot I was playing these. I'm also playing one Red Eyes Black Dragon, one Dark Magician, because... And Red Eyes Fusion, because Dragoon's actually good. If you don't want to play these, then play Dimension Shifter. That's all I have to say about that. Because Thunder Dragons don't really care about their stuff being banished, unlike most of the meta currently. But moving on to spells, I play one copy of Instant Fusion, which is pay 1,000 life points, special summon a level 5 or lower fusion monster from your extra deck. One copy of Gold Sarcophagus. I'm pretty sure Thunder Dragon's the deck that is the reason why Gold Sarcophagus is at 1. Just because you can banish any Thunder Dragon monster from your deck and then activate its banish effect. But pretty much that's the only reason you play Gold Sarcophagus. You never really ever get to add the card you banished off of it back to your hand during your second end phase. Then I play one copy of Harpy's Feather Duster just because this deck doesn't like back row. Then I play 2 copies of Thunder Dragon Fusion. Thunder Dragon Fusion lets you fusion summon one Thunder Fusion monster from your extra deck by shuffling the fusion materials listed on it into the deck from the cards from your field, in your graveyard, and or face up banished. But during the main phase, except for the turn it was sent to the graveyard, you can banish it to add one Thunder monster from your deck to your hand, and you can only activate each effect of Thunder Dragon Fusion per turn. And then to finish off the spells, I play 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. Draw 2 cards, banish a dark, and if you don't have a dark, send your entire hand to the grave. So, moving on to the extra deck, I play 1 copy of Relinquished Anima as a go second option, where you can normal summon Thunder Dragon Matrix, link off to Anima, and if your opponent has summoned a monster underneath an extra monster zone that's not used, you can summon Anima to that zone to then take that equip that monster to Anima as material, or equip it as an equipped card. But the point is, you summon this, it takes an opponent's monster. Then 1 copy of Cross Sheep because fusion deck, why not? 1 copy of IP Masquerena with the 2-card combo that lets you get a Link 4 and Titan. You either summon Masquerena or some Summer Summoner, depending on which way you want to go. Usually I'll end up using IP Masquerena to make either Appaloosa, Bow of the Goddess, or Unchained Abomination. Appaloosa requires 2+ monsters, I believe. Yes, 2+ monsters with different names except tokens. And Unchained Abomination just requires 2+ monsters, including a Link monster. But Appaloosa's effect is it gains 800 attack for each Link material used, and then it can lose 800 attack permanently to then negate an activated monster effect your opponent, or to negate an activated monster effect your opponent has activated to then destroy it. And then Unchained Abomination is just great with Titan because if a card on the field is destroyed by a card effect except by its own effect, then you can target 1 card in the field and destroy it. If a monster is destroyed by battle, you target 1 card on the field and destroy it. And when another monster is destroyed... Oh, alright, I said that one. My bad. And then during the end phase, you can target 1 card in the field and destroy it. You can only use each of its 3 destroying card effects per turn. And when you summon it with IP Masquerena, it can't be destroyed by card effects, so it's actually a bit hard to get rid of, other than it being dark. But if you use some Summer Summoner to some route, I would then end up with Thunder Dragon Thunderstorm mech. I like Thunderstorm mech in this deck as a go first option because it's just further protection for Titan, where during your main phase, if it was Link Summon, if this card has been link summoned, you can target one of your Thunder Dragon monsters that's banished or in the graveyard, activate its discard effect, and then shuffle it into the deck. And also the effect of if a Thunder monster or monsters you control be destroy a battle or card effect, you can banish 3 cards from your graveyard instead. And this isn't an activation at all. Its only activation effect is the effect of returning a Thunder Dragon to the deck, then activates discard effect. And then moving on to the level 8 synchros I play, I only play 1 copy of Ciphering Lord Omega, or the more gone into is Chaos Ruler, the Chaotic Magical Dragon. Chaos Ruler has the effect of when it's summoned, you excavate the top 5 cards of your deck, and if you do, add 1 excavated light or dark monster to your hand and send the rest of the cards to the graveyard. Then you can special summon this card from your graveyard by banishing 1 light or dark monster from your graveyard, except for Chaos Ruler, then summon it back. However, when summoned this way, it's banished when it leaves the field. And each effect is a hard once per turn. And then Omega is just during the standby phase, you can return 1 banished card or 1 banished monster to the graveyard. And then during the main phase, you can banish it to then banish 1 card from your opponent's hand until the next main phase. Or until the next standby phase. So the usual thing you deal with it is your opponent searches, you activate Omega's effect, banish it to then banish a card from their hand, and then you can summon Omega back, and then return something like Mizuki to the graveyard. And then moving on to the fusions, I play 1 copy Kaminari Attack for instant fusion, 1 copy of Twin Head Thunder Dragon, should I ever actually need to use Thunder Dragon multiple times in a turn. Then I play 3 copies of the main control card of this deck, which is 3 copies of Thunder Dragon Titan. Titan has the effect of it must be fusion summoned or special summoned by banishing a Thunder fusion monster you control and a Thunder fusion or a Thunder monster from your hand. And then if a Thunder monster's effect is activated in the hand, even during the damage step, you can destroy 1 card in the field. And the only exception to this is if you activate something like Matrix and your opponent responds to Matrix, then Titan cannot respond. So that effect of Titan can be blocked depending on which Thunder effect you used. But it also has the effect of if it would be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish 2 cards from your grave instead. That's why I like it, because most people will try to get rid of monsters by destroying. So Titan being able to control a field while also avoiding being destroyed and furthering your resources seems pretty good. And then for even further control, 1 copy of Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. And because it can't be targeted or destroyed card effects, you can discard a card to negate an opponent's activated card or effect, destroy it, and then gets 1,000 attack. Also, as the effect, you can target monsters your opponent controls. Or you target a monster your opponent controls, destroy it, and burn your opponent's life points for its attack points or for its original attack. And since for this deck you're always using Dark Magician and Red Eyes, you can do that twice per turn. This card shouldn't exist. There's no reason for a card like Red Eyes Dark Dragoon to exist. But hey, as long as Red Eyes Fusions are around, this card's probably going to be in every single deck. So that is it for my Thunder Dragon deck profile. If you have any ideas of what I can do to improve the deck, or have any ideas of decks you'd like to see me make and then do a deck profile on, feel free to comment below. Thanks for watching.